Hi and welcome. In this tutorial, I'm going to discuss about the array data type, how we can declare an array, how we can add elements to an array, and how to access the elements of an array. To declare an array, we must know about its syntax. First, we need to mention the data type, which type of data an array will store. The array data type is used to group the similar data type items, character, integer, or float type data types. So in the declaration part, we have to first mention the data type such as character, integer, or float. Then we will provide a valid name to our array, then square brackets and semicolon. In the square brackets, we need to mention the length of this array, how many elements is going to store in it. Here, if I mention 10 here, we can store 10 elements in this user-defined array. If I want to create an empty array, then I will equate this array to a 0, and this 0 will be inside these two curly brackets. Now the other part of this array is indexing. This first element of an array is at index number 0, and this second element of the array is at index number 1. So indexing of an array starts from 0, then 1, and so on. Simple array is also known as one-dimensional array because we have one set of these square brackets. If I add one more set of square brackets and mention the number of elements, then this array will be a two-dimensional array. And if I further add one more group of square brackets with the elements, this array will be three-dimensional array. But in this video, I will discuss only the one-dimensional array. Now the next part is how we can access an element from the array. So I will first write the port number and equate that port number to the array name which a user defined here. Then in the square brackets, I will provide the index number from where I want to get the element. Suppose I want to put a value from index number 1. Now at the index number 1 we have this 20, and indirectly our port 3 will be equal to 20. The other thing is that if we are not mentioning the number of elements in the square bracket, then the compiler will automatically assign 2 to this array because we have only 2 elements. If I increase the number of elements in an array, then I do not need to provide any value here in the square brackets. This program is from my last video tutorial where I have created an infinite loop to display a counting from 0 to 9 on a common cathode 7-segment display. You can see I am using a lot of instructions here, which is not a good method to write the programs. Now we will try to reduce these instructions and we will implement the same concept with the help of an array. So from that table I picked up these 10 values and add these 10 values in our user defined array with name segment underscore array. This array is of character type because a character type array can store 8-bit hex value. Now I will create a for loop. Starting bracket of this for and ending bracket of this for, we have this for loop. Now we need to declare this I. I will declare it as an integer I, because the index number of an array must be integer. So I am defining this I as an integer. Now we have this port 2 defined as display where our 7 segment is connected. So I will write display is equal to segment underscore array, which is the array name in this case. And now automatically we will get the index with the help of this I mentioned in the for loop. So first I is equal to 0 and it is assigned here. We will get this 3f from the array and it will be displayed on the 7 segment because we are assigning this element of the array indirectly to port 2. Then we need to provide a delay of few milliseconds. Here I am providing 500 milliseconds. Then after this instruction, the value of I will be incremented because it is less than 10. Now the I will be 1, and from the index 1 of this array we will get this 06 hex value assigned to port 2 here, and we will get displayed a 1 on the 7 segment, and so on. This will continue unless we are not getting to this condition. Now compile the program, assign the hex file and the clock frequency and the simulation model, and run the program. Now we can see we start from 0 and the counting will go up to 9 because we have 10 elements defined in the array, and we are not using any infinite loop, so that our counting will not resume from 0 again. So this is how we can use the power of array data type in our programming, and we can greatly reduce the number of instructions required for our application. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe the channel.